Let's start with this. Jacoby Brissett has been signed by the Patriots on a one-year deal for $8 million. Zoe, what does that mean?
I like it better than Flacco. That's what it means. And I didn't want to go the Gardner Minshew route to what he ended up getting. And you see what Kirk Cousins got, which is ridiculous down in Atlanta. This means you're getting a stable guy that knows how to run Alex Van Pelt's offense. That's basically what you're getting. It's a one-year deal, $8 million, and he'll be a placeholder for whoever is next.
I think you got to look at this in totality of the last couple of days. Moving on from Mac Jones, trading him to Jacksonville, going out and getting Jacoby Brissett, and adding him into the mix on this deal. It tells you that there is a larger picture plan for this quarterback situation with the team.
And I like it from the sense that they made decisions that they want to do things different. And they made a decision from reports out at the combine, Phil, you were there, that was the time they were going to move on from Mac. They sat Mac down, a week ago, said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to trade you. We're going to look to trade you. And they know what they want to do. I don't know what they want to do.
They are drafting a quarterback.
This is
they're drafting a quarterback.
Get ready
for
this
tells you. I don't know that means that they're drafting a quarterback at 3, but it tells me they are going to draft one of the top, let's call it 6 quarterbacks in this draft for this team. I don't know that means they're drafting a guy at 3 or staying at 3 or moving up, but their plan is to draft a quarterback in this draft.
I agree with that.
That's what they're going to do. And that's why Jacoby Brissett is here on a one-year deal.
Yep. And I think he understands what he's coming here to do, and he's a good pro at doing that. Now, this isn't sexy to a lot of people. I understand why people look and say, oh, what are we doing here? He signed a lot of good core guys. And I know they didn't have a lot of wins last year. But if you had a win who jumped ship, if you had Hunter Henry jump ship, if Bourne didn't come back, if you didn't tag Duggar, if you didn't get the kid from Pittsburgh, I'm still working on his name, Okorafor.
There you go.
Okorafor.
Nailed it.
Chuck Okorafor. They're establishing a base. The Gibson kid, and I don't we'll get to him, but he cut us up pretty good last year. I remember talking to Bob about it during the game. Like, ooh, this kid's good, pretty good little third down back. But for his size, he can move a little bit. They needed something. They needed something to complement Ramondre. But I think you need to start by securing your own, and then let's make a splash.
You know what the unfortunate part is, though?
What?
This is another stopgap quarterback, and the last time they did that, it was Cam Newton in 2020. It was a one-year thing. He was here for a year. Older, veteran quarterback. The difference this time, I think, will be that they'll have the kid already drafted and on the roster, which is something they didn't have in 2020 when they had Cam Newton.
Yeah, it feels like they have a plan. That's why I like this, because at least we're not like keeping Mac, keeping Zappy, bringing a kid in. Let's all compete together. It's staggered. It's a stepping process.
There's a move made here, which is nice. This isn't just wait around and see what falls to you. There's a plan here, and I think it is indicative of the fact that they are very likely to take a quarterback at 3 overall. That's what the league would tell you. Just talking to people last night, the league would tell you, they signed Jacoby Brissett to a backup contract. It's a backup deal, right? 1 year, $8 million.
Nice.
They're taking a quarterback at 3. It's a strong quarterback draft. Elliott Wolf himself has told us it's a strong quarterback draft. Pat Stewart, on the record with the team's website, it's a strong quarterback draft. I think what they would tell you is we're not locked into that pick just yet in taking a quarterback, but there's 3 good quarterbacks in this year's draft, and they have the 3rd overall pick. I think this is a pretty good sign that they are at least leaning in that direction.
Taking whoever's there.
Yeah, but they got a month to convince themselves. Like,
they've got time.
Let's play it out. Let's do all the algorithms, and whoever at 80% is probably going to be there at 3. We got to make sure we like them before we take them.
Yes, and they're still going through that process.
And if they're going to convince themselves to like the guy and take him at 3 is what my hope is for them.
You have to.
And now they've got Jacoby Brissett, which means they can sit the kid down for the year. So if it's Drake May and he needs to sit down for a year, now you've got a guy to play instead of him for a year. That's who you have.
You could do that.
I'd be floored if Jacoby Brissett is not the team's week 1 starter.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
That's what I think this move is all about. They went out and got a guy who's going to start for them because they're going to draft a guy and they are not going to start him at the start of the year.
I wouldn't go that far. But I like that take.
I'm going that far.
I like that take by you. He's a guy who can start, which I think is why you get him. He's a backstop if you need him. If the kid's not ready by the time you get to week 1,
they were pretty eager on day 1
him.
to go get this guy. This was the guy they really wanted. They targeted him. Do you really target a guy you expect to be backing up week 1?
Do you pay a guy $8 million for the year if you're expecting him to be your starter?
If you're doing a one gap year, yeah, you do,
Yeah,
because that's what this guy
could
costs.
figure in here.
I mean,
With this team,
Phil,
yes.
the market is the market.
Yes.
I mean, what he gets paid is what he gets paid. I actually expected him to get a little more than he did. I think he gave them a good deal. 1 year and $8 million. There's no real commitment to him. You don't have to sign him for multiple years. Hell, Brian Hoyer used to be able to go out and get 2 years and $12 million, no problem. And he's better than that guy.
What Darnold get? 10? 10 or 12?
He gives them the option to start. It's the option.
He's your week 1 starter. Jacoby Brissett will be suiting up and starting week 1.
If your line's not ready.
Because even if they draft a quarterback at 3 and they believe in him to be able to start year 1, week 1, they're not going to do it this time.
They got to make sure they got continuity up front. You got to be humming at all 5 positions. You better get your tackle on the backside.
I can't believe that we're already punting on the rookie starting week 1. I can't believe
I'm not. If you're drafting a kid,
we're punting.
If you're drafting a kid 3rd, I think he's your starter.
Punting. Okay.
I think this is your difference because what you guys both said. It's possible that they may take a quarterback. Doesn't necessarily mean 3. But if you trade out at 3 and slide back, and you still jump in and take a quarterback, now all of a sudden that's where Brissett can be a player.
Sure.
See that if you're taking Drake May at 3, he's playing. I'm sorry, he's playing.
No, I'm not sure he is. In fact, I would say that if there's one in there that might need a little time to adjust and learn and get up to speed, it could be Drake May, and I like Drake May.
I don't dislike him.
And I would sit any of these guys. I would give them time. I would give them the time to develop. If this is what you're doing, and you've got to put this move in the context of the entire offseason to this point, which is the long game. The Patriots are playing the long game. That, to me, is pretty obvious at this point. They are not looking to be a significantly better team in 2024 than what they were in 2023.
Ooh. Let's see what they do at receiver. Let's see what they do at receiver here the next week.
What have they done to this point that would tell you they're going to be significantly better?
I think they upgraded a quarterback.
But you don't think he's going to start?
He might be your backup.
That's a weird way to
put it. And he might be your backup.
No, but you see what he's saying?
You need to give me the option. I don't know why you're taking the option off the table from me. You need to give me the option.
I'm not giving you that
Give
option.
me the option. If I need to start Jacoby Brissett for a month, I'm okay with that.
You can't say they've upgraded a quarterback, but that he's...
Who would you rather have right now, Jacoby Brissett or Mac Jones?
But that you're going to start a rookie.
Jacoby Brissett.
Why not? When the guy was the 37th ranked starting quarterback out of 37 quarterbacks last year,
they know
in a number of different categories. You're saying he can't be an upgrade and still be a backup? When Mac Jones was the guy that we're talking about?
No, you're right. Mac Jones was pretty bad.
Of course.
But I just think that you go out and get this guy for this purpose. There's a purpose in going out and getting Jacoby Brissett day 1, and that purpose is to play him.
Give you the option.
Back to that other thing. What have they done that would tell you they're looking to be significantly better?
They're moving in a different direction.
They've brought back,
they realize how bad they
which
were.
is a good thing. I mean, and we'll get into these specific moves, and we'll get into Mike Owenu re-signing yesterday, but they did not go out and make big splashes yesterday. That was not what they were doing.
That's true.
They're playing the long game.
We'll see.
Let's see what they do today.
Let's see what they do today.
So you still hanging on for fireworks?
I am.
A lot of big names out
One
there.
impact player. Yep. If they go and get a big receiver, I mean, I think you're playing a kid week 3. I mean, the 3rd pick. I think you're playing the 3rd pick week 1. If you're loading up a receiver and you're trying to put people around him and giving him a tight end and giving him a good backfield and giving him good tackles, we're off and running a little bit.
Why are you desperate to play the kid picked at number 3?
Because I'm excited. Because I'm excited for something new. I'm excited to get I lived it with Drew. Like you made football more important here. It was important again. Like, we weren't good. We were 2-14 prior to that. You got Drew in here, get him up and running early. Did he have his issues? Yeah. But you play through it. You play through it, and you develop coats as we're going here. You know, you develop other guys. Brisby came around. That's like, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And we didn't know what it was. But you figure it out as you go. Michael Timpson becomes one of his go-to guys. You know, Marv Cook gets phased out. Holy crap, we get some good fullbacks that can catch a ball. Kevin Turner and Sam Gash. We didn't know that. You figure it out as the year goes on. But you don't know that if you don't play the guy. Playing is experience. That's everything. That's everything to me. And if you value a guy to pick him that high, you play him. If you're picking him bottom of the first, then yeah, sitting him is in play.
We're in 3 different places, which I think is healthy, the 3 of us here. We're in three different places. Beetle wants to play Brissett no matter what.
Yep.
Zoe wants to play the quarterback drafted at 3 if they do that.
If you
no matter
draft him at 3, then I'm open to second tier sitting.
Phil over here wants to ride the fence.
I want the option.
He wants
Just give me the option.
He wants
because
options.
if you draft Drake May,
saying.
Zoe, if you draft Drake May and say the footwork's a mess and Alex Van Pelt looks at it and says, boy, we do need a little bit more time. And you know what? We didn't get that left tackle we really wanted in the draft or in free agency. So let's give him a month. Let's give him 2 months. Let's see where he is mid-season.
I need to see that through the preseason.
Yes.
And because here's what's going to happen. We're going to get the preseason, and we're going to be down there, up there on the red level, watching it from up above. And you're going to see the long windup from Brissett. That has not changed. I've called a couple games against him when he wasn't here. And it's still a long windup.
Let him take the lumps. I don't need the rookie getting beat up.
Then you're going to see the next young kid with a little spring in his step, throwing some zip passes, and we're going to get all giddy, and he's going to play well in the preseason. We're going to say, okay, he's the guy.
Let Jacoby Brissett deal with Alex Van Pelt as a full-time play caller for the first time. Let him take those lumps. Don't put that on a rookie. Don't put that on the kid. That's what you pay this guy for. That's why you brought in the adult. That's why you're bringing a quarterback
let's buy
in his
Ferrari
30s.
and keep it in the garage.
The guy who's experienced, the guy who's got some miles on him, the guy who's going to take a beating, but know that that's what he's here for, so that the kid doesn't get wrecked. Because I know mentally Jacoby Brissett won't get wrecked.
Let's buy a new
That's
fat
not
boy.
going to happen to him.
Buy a new fat boy, but we won't take the motorcycle out for a ride because there's too much gravel around that one curve.
Well, that would be a smart idea to leave that in the garage with all the gravel there. Yes. That would be.
If it's a horrible situation, I don't hate your plan, Beetle. I don't know if it's realistic. And the reason I say that is the Packer way, right? The Packer way is to draft a guy and stash him. The Packer way is to not make big splashes in free agency. The Packers don't have a real owner to answer to. The Patriots have an owner who wants to sell tickets, who wants a competitive football team, who's been saying he wants a competitive football team for years now. And I'm not saying he expects them to win a Super Bowl or anything along those lines. But when you have an owner that you're trying to satisfy and you have a third overall pick sitting there, a quarterback who has all kinds of ability, it gets a little difficult not to play the guy.
Well, the owner, unfortunately, is kind of partially responsible for the quarterback situation on this team right now and where they are in the big picture. And so he's just going to have to sit and wait so that in 3 years he's not sitting here again with another wrecked quarterback 3 years into their career. Because I don't know that he wants this car crash again. This was not a fun ride over the last 3 years with Mac Jones. Came out of the gate strong, then he hit that gravel pit you talk about, Zoe.